So first, as I can actually see the sun coming in the window and shining on me, we have to be so grateful for these beautiful days and absorb the sun and the warmth. If it's possible to get out and walk, which it's almost irresistible. I've heard it said that the combination of yoga and walking is good under normal circumstances, but particularly under these circumstances where we find ourselves today. So I just wanted to share, usually it's what sort of floats in while I'm meditating. And I kind of mentioned it the other day that, this whole crisis is making our world smaller. And that can be very disconcerting and overwhelming unless you look at the positive side of it. And there's always a positive, just like there's always peace within you. So in this case, the positive is an opportunity to practice coming home to the home within us. So in light of that, I kind of wanted to share a coincidence. I've been teaching or adding chakras and mudras to the practice, which is a whole new thing for me, so I don't profess to be even close to even understanding it fully. But what I do understand about them is it's a context. And coincidentally, all the mudras that, I'm getting a text from Audrey. Let me see. Those of you who don't have sound, you might have to either turn your Bluetooth off or turn your speaker on if it's your phone. Other than that, I don't think that I can do anything on my end. Sorry. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys, something's going on here. For some reason, I'm having a problem on my end. Oh my goodness. Hold on a minute. Okay, kind of back. Let's see if I can shut this off. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Technical. Anyway, I need to take a breath again to come back. So kind of appropriate to where I was going in terms of mudras and chakras to be viewed as context within which to explore and discover and learn. So it's a coincidence that all the mudras that I've chosen from last week were part of the root chakra. which is the chakra at the base, which makes a lot of sense because we're all trying to come back, to feel grounded, to feel centered. So today I was planning on reviewing. So to quickly review, we practice the calming chakra, mudra, which is thumbs and a light fist. And then we practiced fearlessness, which is this, easy. And then we practiced surrender, which is bringing fingertips together, keep the index, pinkies, tuck the middle and ring finger, bring the thumbs to the tips, and there is your surrender chakra, which you can, mudra, which you can put here. And today I was going to do centering, which is ring finger and thumb touch. So rather than the most common index finger and thumb. So if you want to practice surrendering while we do our breathing, you're going to bring the ring finger and the thumb to touch. Can you see that? Rest on the tops of your knees. And I'm sorry, but because we've lost time, I want to do 5 really deep, full inhales and exhales. And again, using the mudra and what it means as the context. So if you want to repeat centering while your fingers, your hands are making the shape, which if you're not used to making the shape will clearly call your attention. So that's the purpose on a very basic level. So we're going to breathe. Take another, I lied, we're going to take another 3 breaths. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. The end goal is just trying to get back on this mat, trying to get back in the room where you are, trying to get back into your body at this moment with nothing else to draw your attention away. So if you're sitting on something, come off. If you want to stay on it in order to come to our easy seat with right foot in front, hands on the knees just to start. And as we inhale, we're just going to lift the shoulders and roll them back for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. And then we're going to bring them the other way. If it feels weird, just welcome the weirdness. Bring the arms out to the side and make them really heavy. This is a little, takes a little learning. So it takes a little learning curve. Just going to take just the shoulders, roll them forward, just the arms, then the hands. Just the shoulders, roll them back, then the arms, then the hands. We can make a little song out of it. Roll the shoulders forward, then the arms, then the hands. Roll the shoulders back, arms and hands. Notice my elbows are not hyperextended because they're not doing that much other than going along for the ride. So as we come back here and the shoulders find their place, find their home, shoulders like to be here, we're just going to turn palms down, flex the wrists, and extend. Take about 3 breaths here, checking in with the shoulder blades and actually like feeling those palms moving away from each other, and potentially you could feel lots of energy bouncing back and forth. Inhale and exhale. We're going to drop the right fingertips down to the floor, bring the left arm up, and take a nice easy side bend. And as you do that, just aim or send the attention to the left butt, make sure it's staying on the floor, and breathe into it. It's just an easy breath to awaken the left side. Bring it back, just let your shoulders drop down again. Left fingertips stay on the floor, bring the right arm up, and a nice, easy just for awakening, right? So that means different things to different people, but in this case, you just want to feel your right side. Inhale and exhale. And bring it back up. So we're just going to float the arms up for 3 and float the arms down. Practice dead weight. You'll notice the heavier you make your arms, the more your shoulders know to slide down. It's a very interesting relationship to become accustomed to. And this time when we bring the arms up, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up. Easy aim, palms up to the ceiling. So we're not hyperextending or lifting shoulders. We're just paying attention and having a conversation with our hands and our wrists. Inhale, exhale, draw the arms back. You might feel the tops of the shoulders. And if you do, allow your heart to rise a little bit. Hands in front of the heart. Stretch the palms towards the screen and round into your lower back. Don't let the shoulders pop up again. So this is always a lesson for the shoulders. Release the hands. Bring the hands behind the back. Keep the elbows soft. Squeeze between the shoulder blades. Open up across the collarbones. Bring hands over to the right. So I'm going to give you a minute to kind of figure that out. So your hands are still clasped, and all you're doing is swinging them over to the left. And then we're going to drop that left ear to the left shoulder, the side bend of the neck on the right, which clearly tells you to keep the right shoulder down. So we get a really good stretch. We're going to come back to clasping the palms behind the back. Elbows are soft. Squeeze between the shoulder blades, open up across the collarbones. And then take the hands over to the right. Drop the right ear to the right shoulder. And don't worry about, formality here, except trying to energize that left side. You can even move your head around if you notice that's what I'm doing. And then just imagine the left shoulder about 1,000,000 miles away from the left ear. And we're going to come back up. I'm going to ask you guys to stretch your hands behind your backs again because I'm getting a message from the... Okay. So we're here. Just release the hands. Tips of the fingers together. Press the fingertips together so that you feel underneath your armpits. It's going to remind your shoulders where they belong. Isometrically drop the elbows towards the floor or each other, but they don't really move too much. Drop chin to throat. Take a nice deep breath into the back of your lungs. And if you don't know where that is, just take your breath between your shoulder blades and keep feeling that space underneath your armpits. And use your breath. So we're going to do one more round of that. Bring the hands behind the back. We want to open up our hearts, and that's what this does. So keep your elbows soft. And if you feel nothing else from this, feel across here, right? It's where the heart lives. And when you breathe into that, just imagine how much you're feeding your heart. And God knows we need it. And then last time, we're going to bring fingertips together, press, isometrics, isometrically draw elbows down, feel underneath the armpits, drop chin to throat, breathe. And one more breath. So before we move on, right foot's in front, left foot's behind. Take a nice deep corkscrew twist and use your breath. Using the visual of the corkscrew brings you very close to your spine. So every time we do this, perhaps you'll get that experience, because that's what it is. You can actually feel it the more you practice it. Getting really close to the spine, nice deep twist. Bring the left arm up behind you, side bend, another side bend. Got to keep those sides open. Go to your edge, so reach through the fingertips of the left hand and then rotate to face the floor. Scoop your abdominals in. If you feel your shoulders release, let them slide down your back. So again, it's not making something happen, it's allowing something to happen, which requires a lot of body awareness. Switch your feet, twist to the right, corkscrew with the breath, pulling the tummy in. And take a moment, feel the pelvic floor on the bottom, and then feel the top or the crown of the head rising towards the top. Side bend to the left. Once you hit that edge, send your attention to the right butt. Make sure it's aiming down. Send your attention above the hip, below the ribs. Extend through those fingertips. Use your breath. When you hit that edge, rotate. Don't worry about the shoulders, because if you scoop your abdominals in, that allows them the freedom to slide and for you to open your heart and extend. Inhaling and exhaling. So we're going to come on to hands and knees. Now we're going to do our cats and cows to get moving. Inhale and exhale. Inhale on the cow, exhale on the cat. Going to do about 3 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Let's add inhale forward, sit back on the heels. I'm going to come forward, inhale, exhale. For 3, and 2, and 1. You stay in your child's pose, move back and forth. Also, shift the weight on the palms, back and forth. And when we come forward, shoulders over shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. I'm going to isolate. So visualize big cats walking through the brush, and as their shoulder blades go up and down, it's a beautiful sight. You're going to kind of visualize that for both your shoulder blades. As you let your shoulder blades slide up, the spine kind of slides down, and then you're going to let the shoulder blades slide up, down, and the spine slides up. So we're going to inhale, drop, shoulder blades go up. Exhale, shoulder blades go down. Inhale, shoulder blades go up. Exhale. And if this doesn't feel familiar and a little awkward, just go with it. And eventually you will learn it. But in the meantime, you're moving your shoulders in a way they haven't been moving anyway. So it's a win-win. You come to the cat. So a nice rounded back. We've done this seated, so it may be a little bit unfamiliar in this position, but you're just going to roll your ribs, just the ribs. So practice that if it feels weird. If you want to picture clothes going around and around in a clothes dryer, that kind of works. And then we're going to go in the opposite direction. I don't know about you, but I'm getting a million adjustments from this. So we got 3. And if you can isolate your ribs, you can add more body parts. I just want everybody to give the ribs a little attention. We're going to come back, and then we're going to roll the hips. So this is sort of weird. I think I might face you so you can see what I'm doing. You can stay where you are. So I'm going to go to the right. I'm going to roll my hips around, which brings me forward. And then when they go back, it's kind of like a cat. So this is kind of like a cow, right? It's a big movement. And as you come forward, you inhale. And as you go back, you exhale. Inhale. And inhale. And then we're going to switch. So left, I'm going left. It's good for anybody who has ADD, figuring out left and right, forward, back, up and down. That's what it's about. We're coordinating mind and body and adjusting our nervous systems and bring it back. I'm going to turn around again, but you stay where you are. Let's take that right foot back and reach through the heel. If you're feeling your Achilles and your calf, that's exactly where you should be. So if you look at my heel, you'll see it's like a really acute corner. That's what we're looking for. You could bounce too. And then we're just going to walk that right foot over to the left, look over the left shoulder, and employ or recruit any of the internal actions that speak to you. In this one in particular, you can reach through that heel, and if you pull your tummy in, you'll feel that right side quite a bit. I'm going to bring it back and switch. Again, we're looking for the corner of the left heel. Along with that comes your Achilles and your calf. I'm going to walk that foot over to the right and look over the right shoulder. Again, you can often determine which internal actions you need to recruit because of the feelings, the sensations that you feel in your body. And then bring it back. And bring your feet underneath your knees underneath your hips. Move it back and forth. And sit back on your heels. I'm going to demonstrate. We haven't done arms yet. And I'm going to demonstrate it first and add that you want to really listen to your body. And if you hadn't noticed, I have this wrist thing going on. So I'm not going to do the full pose, but that doesn't mean that we can't keep our arms strong. So the sequence goes like this. We're going to bring the right leg. I'm going to demonstrate, so don't do it yet. And some of you who have done this in the past, you know your edge. So this is an inhale. We're going to bring exhale, knee to nose. And then we're going to bring that leg out again, keeping the elbows over the wrists, kind of shifting forward so that we can just drop as far as we can go. So that's as far as I can go. And then knee to nose, exhale, inhale, lower, and lift. So everybody meet me on all fours. And use your breath. Just get oriented and feel your bones. So you want to feel stable and secure. Inhale, extend the right leg behind you. Exhale, bring knee to nose. Inhale, extend the right leg behind you. And you're going to keep the elbows over the wrists. Bring your chest forward. Come up. Exhale. Inhale, lower, and lift. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. 2 more. I'm only going this far because I have this wrist situation. Nice. And bring it back and shake it out. Do whatever you need to do. Like you need to shake this out a little bit. Extending the left leg behind you. Take a breath. Inhale. Exhale. Knee to nose. Inhale. And we're going to lower down and up. Exhale. Inhale. Elbows in and up. Exhale. Inhale. Aim your chest forward so you're going in front of yourself. 2 more. Exhale. Inhale. Hopefully we are targeting your triceps. And bring it back. Knees underneath hips. We're going to sit back on the heels. Release your arms. Take them into child's pose, actually. Couple of breaths. Coming back to all fours. This is just going to set us up to move forward in the practice that we're doing today, which is quads. So we're going to extend the right arm out and the left leg back. Just going to stay there for a few breaths to establish stability and balance. Lift the back leg and grab onto your foot if you can. Take your time to get there. I'll wait. And then we're just going to lift that back knee, trying to fire up that quad. If you don't feel it, don't worry about it. Just use your breath and keep lifting the knee and keep that right elbow soft. 2 more breaths. Very nice. Let it go. Come back to your tabletop. So savor that sense of stability and coming home. So this is a coming home pose. So is dog. Extending the left arm forward, right leg back. Take a moment. Try to feel that sense of being home, being stable, centered. Bend that right knee. See if you can grab onto the ankle. And if you can't, just stay here. If you can, try to square everything off once you have a hold of that ankle and lift the knee. And then keep the right elbow soft. Check in that the right shoulder is right over the wrist and that that elbow is soft as well. Keep lifting the knee, using your breath, and see if you can fire up that quad. And don't worry if you can't. Nice. Let it go and sit back on your heels. Really respect your breath. So even in this child's pose, take a very deep breath in and then a very deep breath out. And feel that sense of contact here. And another sense of coming back home, coming back to your center. So again, the poses are also context within which to explore. We're going to do our sequence. So I'm doing this every practice so that eventually you don't even have to think about it and you can play with the flow of it. So we're going to come forward and through to upward facing. We're going to flip over the toes to downward facing. Wave it forward. Inhale. Wave it back. Exhale. Down to your knees. Open your heart. And back on your heels. Exhale. Sort of again like a song. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale. Downward facing. Bring it forward. Inhale. Bring it back. Exhale. Down to your knees. Inhale. And back to your heels. Inhale, forward and through, upward facing. Flow. Flow it into your dog. Transitions are just as important as poses. Transition to your plank with a wave or not. Transition to your dog, wave or not. Inhale, and back to the heels. And last one, inhale, forward and through. Exhale, down to your dog. Inhale, to your plank. Exhale, to your dog. Bring it down to your knees. Inhale and back to the heels. Exhale. Take a moment here. I just need to move my mat. Okay. So from your child's pose, we're going to come forward and through to the upward facing dog. I'm going to flip over the toes, downward facing dog. Let's stay here for a second and see if you can feel that sense of being home. It may be like a tiny little whisper for some of you, and it may be very loud and clear for others. But we do it so often that eventually it really is like a return, okay? So while we're here, you're gonna make sure you're reaching through the corners of those heels, but don't hyperextend your knees. You're gonna turn the hands out like this, not back, just out, like you're standing in belly first position. And keep your elbows soft. And let's just take about 3 breaths here. Just notice the difference. Every time you change something, whether it be the entire pose or just an element of the pose, it's another way to send attention to something that feels unfamiliar. So then we start to appreciate unfamiliar sensations. Inhale and exhale. And bring it back. If you have to come down to do it, then please do. And anytime you have to come down from the dog, come down from the dog. If it doesn't feel like home to you, it might feel like torture. And then we're going to come way up on the balls of the feet. Make really big creases across the toes. And this is up to you too. If you bend your knees, it's very similar to when we do this in a child's pose or a cat. So I'm just doing this to wake up those toes, and then you can reach through the heels. So we're just going to do about 4 more of those. At your own pace, you don't have to do 4, you can do 3. You can do 2, you don't have to do any at all. You can just stay way up on the balls of the feet, whatever sends energy to those toes. 1 more. Nice. So I'm going to have to come down because of this wrist situation. So if you want to come down, you can come down too. Shake it out. And if you don't, if you're feeling like wild and crazy today and you're staying in your dog, we're all going to go back to a dog. Okay, so we haven't done this before, but this is a side plank. I'm going to take this right leg and just lift it hips height. And I'm going to do this 2 times. So you can either do it 2 times or you can watch me the first time. We're going to step this right foot halfway up and turn out, and then turn onto the outside of the back foot. This can be done on your knees too, if I'm not mistaken. So if you see what I have going on here, my shoulder is right over my wrist, and then I just bring this arm up, okay? And use your breath. This is all to wake up your serratus anterior and your side, discal side, that eventually will allow you to do this without this kickstand. And then we're going to bring it back, step it back to the dog, return home, float the left leg just part way up, just to have some momentum. I'm going to step that left foot up with the toes turned out onto the outside of the bottom foot. Notice, hopefully, I can't see myself, but I'm presuming that my hands are lined up. So there's one line from my left hand to my right hand. And then, of course, you want to try to send your attention here so you can take energy there and fire it up. I'm going to do 1 more round just in case it was a little confusing for some of you. So we're going to float the right leg up, step that right foot up, turned out, turn onto the back foot. Because I can see myself, I can see that I'm lined up, so it's 1 line. Use your breath. And again, if you send your attention anywhere, send it to your left side. And also keep your hips up. So the minute you become dead weight,
kind of cuts off the energy flow. Bring it back to your dog. Float the left leg just halfway up. Use your breath. Step it up. Foot turns out. Turn on to the back foot. Shoulder over wrist. And again, keep those hips up. Otherwise, you're going to tumble down. And instead, we want to feel light and lifted. And this, in a way, is learning how to go out to the edge and then coming back to the center when you use your abdominals. Physical action that enhances and teaches an internal action. And come on down to your knees, sit back on your heels. Just take a little pause. I'm gonna take a little sip of water, and you can do the same. Okie dokie. So shift back and forth. Let's just stretch out those sides that we just kind of strengthened, right? So you're going to walk the right fingertips over to the right. This is probably like second nature or ho-hum, but still, if it is, try to really extend the left foot over to the left, walk the left hand over. So every time you do this, you could go a little further, but you're only giving your body actually what it needs based on the practice that we're doing. Then bring it back and over to the other side, right butt to the right, right hand over left. Use your breath, stay compact. So let's use our little sequence to find our way back to the dog. Every time we do this, it just becomes a little clearer in your mind so that you don't have to think about it in the future. So we're going to come forward and through, upward facing. Flip over the toes, downward facing. I am going to have you come forward to do a plank. This is a kind of strong practice. Bend the knees, come back to your dog. See if you can feel dog being home base. It's an opportunity to check in with every part of your body. I'm going to float that right leg up all the way up this time. Open it out, right? Just be careful you don't come forward in your shoulders. You want to stay really long in your armpits. Inhale and exhale. Going to bring that right knee forward for a pigeon. I'm going to give everybody a chance and time to get into the pigeon because everybody's got different range here. So just going to give you a few breaths. And you want to do your pigeon your way because the main objective initially is to get those hips set up, right? So you want the hips to stay square. And if you literally think about the forward bend on the right and the back bend on the left, for some miraculous reason, it just levels off the pelvis. And generally you can't feel it, but when I'm actually able to see you, I can see it happen. So you have to take my word for it, I guess. And so here we are. I'm figuring everybody's in it. I'm going to take like 5 breaths, picturing, visualizing gravity coming down along the whole back side of your body. You can stay here. You can do whatever feels right for you. And the next 3 breaths, on the exhale, allow that gravity to help you deepen into the forward bend on the right and lengthen the back bend on the left. And there you are again, coordinating and using your breath. And I guess one more breath. Make your way up to a comfortable back bend. And what that means is if you feel like a lot of squeezing or any kind of discomfort in your lower back, you can bring it down to this too. I did mention earlier quads and incorporating them into the practice. If you have a comfortable back bend here, I'm going to bend that left knee, okay? May cause you to upset your frame or shape or alignment, so don't worry about it. But then once you get to your edge, readjust your hips so they're square. If you have this available to you, right? Again, we're trying to fire up those quads. If you don't have this available to you, just stay where you can and allow gravity to help you drop into the fold and the unfold. If you're actually able to hold on to your ankle, keep the left elbow soft and use your breath and your abdominals to pull everything up out of the left quad. It's very distinct. And use your breath. Inhale and exhale. And keep, if this is available for you, to keep drawing the left heel towards the butt, it just gets you a little bit longer in those quads. Let it go. This doesn't have to be pretty. Find your way back to your dog. Just going to stretch those toes again. So come way up on the balls of the feet and bend the knees just once to remind your toes that they can bend this way. Reach through the heels, find the corner of those heels that we found before, and float the left leg up. Open it out using your breath. We stretch that quad, so you might be able to go a little bit further here and lift that knee more. And then we're going to come forward, pigeon on the left. Your pigeon, your way. I'm going to wait for everybody to work it out. No matter what your edge is, what you're looking for is your hips being square. You're looking for the forward bend on the left and the back bend on the right. And then we're going to take 5 breaths. Welcoming gravity. So we're not going to fight the gravity, we're actually going to welcome it. We're going to allow the gravity to make us more compact or drop the hips to the floor. So we're not going to make that happen, we're going to allow it to happen. 2 more breaths. Make your way back to your dog. And maybe dog starts to feel a little bit more like home base. After we get out of the more challenging poses, it's like, oh, this feels really familiar. Perhaps I could relax in this a little bit. And then we're just going to walk those hands back to the feet and end up in a hang, which might feel really good, especially in the lower back. In honor of that, let's make sure those feet are hips width apart. Make sure the heels are right behind the second and third toe. Fingertips on the floor or not, doesn't matter. And if you have any kind of props, you can use those. My knees happen to be hyperextended, which is a big no-no, so I'm just going to soften them. And that's only because it stops the flow of energy. And it does put pressure on the knees. So we're going to find the balls of the big toes, press the balls of the big toes down, find the outer edges of the heels and press them apart. Hopefully you'll feel that all the way up to here. That's the target. Nice. Inhaling and exhaling. Before we bring it up, keep abducting because we're going to add movement to it. So you're going to walk your fingertips over to the right. But if you keep abducting, it kind of changes it a little bit. Inhaling and exhaling, don't forget to pull your tummy in. Come back to the center and over to the other side. Same thing. So press the balls of the big toes down, outer edges of the heels apart. Isometrically draw the heels apart. As you breathe into the right side, and you might actually feel that it's already been open. We spent a lot of time there, so that's a gift. And soften your knees and use your abdominals to roll up so that you can stack to a standing position. about here. With the fingertips extending to the floor as far as they possibly can, I want you to feel your armpits, right? So you feel those shoulders, the under surface of the shoulder blade squeezing down on top of the ribs. Inhaling and exhaling. I'm going to float the arms up, keep the elbows soft. I just caught myself. Oops. Okay, well, we've done this. So you're going to turn one palm up, left arm up, over. So this time I'm going to add to it because we've already opened up these spaces. I'm going to lean over towards the left and reach through the heel of the left hand. Trying to feel it all the way down to the left foot. Bring it back. Turn the other palm up to the ceiling. Hold on underneath your wrist, up and over to the right. Again, shift your hips. You want to be really careful with this, so only go as far as you feel safe. Reach through the left heel of the hand and see if you can feel it all the way down to the left foot. Bring it back up one more time with a little bit more flow. Breath is flow, so make sure you're breathing, shifting if it feels safe for you. And one more time, up and over. Reach through the heel of the left hand, right hand, and bring it back. And float the arms down. So make sure you're standing very solidly on both feet and feel both feet on the floor. We're going to move this into a balance. Shift the weight over to the left. You want to feel as stable on that left foot as you just did on both. Take a minute to do that. Hold on underneath the right knee. This is a prep that I want everybody to learn as well. Keeps you in your balance for quite a long time, which is the way to strengthen the standing leg. Bring the right leg out, holding it, 5 breaths. This is your opportunity to pay very close attention to what's going on. And then we're going to bring it over. So slight twist. Use your breath. I just have to check this. Oh. So for those of you who can stay here to do this, please do. If you can't, put the foot down and just come back. Catch up. So you're going to take that right ankle and cross it over the left knee. See, I'm losing it. Bring your hands to your heart. And we're just going to take a little seat. And if that's too much for you, don't do it. Just stay in the version that's doable for you. Let's say 2 more breaths. Big challenge for the ankle. And bring it up. You can bring it up more gracefully than I just did. Shift the weight to the right. Hold on underneath the left knee. We're going to stay here for 5. And the more you know the drill, it's like choreography. The more you can just be a little mindless about it and just pay attention to the flow. Bring it out. And if you move quickly, it throws you off. So I just made a couple of corrections. That's what the 5 breaths are about. So it gives you time. And then we're going to take this into this little twist. Whoops. If you can stay here to go to this last variation, do. If not, do whatever you need to do. You want to kind of find the center. Balancing is very centering, right?
take a seat. And 2 more breaths. Beautiful. And come on up. Step down, both feet. Shake it out. This is one of you guys texting me, so I have to check. You should be at the back of your mats. I think that's where I left you. So you come to the front of your mat. So we're just going to do one little sun salutation sequence for another quad opener. Take a breath, come back home. This is another one of those home poses. Gonna inhale, bring the arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Fingertips on the floor. Extend the spine. This is gonna be kind of easy. Just gonna step the left leg back and end up in a half monkey. And bring the arms up. Just stay here for a second. If you're starting to understand how to square off your hips, because it's a practice, this is where you want to practice it again. Again, you're doing a forward bend on the right and a back bend on the left. So just to get you a little bit deeper, you're going to lift the right heel. Notice if you can sit a little deeper into that right hip. Drop the right heel. Take the hands behind the back. Take a little heart opening. Inhaling and exhaling. Nice. We're going to take that left hand, just the fingertips on the floor, so you can bend the back knee. And again, you have to be your own judge here of how far you want to go, or even if you want to do this. If you get a cramp in the hamstring, it just means that you need to get a little longer. So do what you need to do. And hopefully you feel the belly of that quad. And if you do, use your breath, pull your tummy in, and you might feel it getting longer. Just stay here for 2 more breaths. Bring both fingertips on either side of the front foot. Lift the back knee and step the left foot next to the right. Fold forward. Breathe. Reverse your swan dive and come all the way back to the heart. Breathe into home base again. You're in charge of what you pay attention to. Inhale, bring the arms out and up. Exhale, I see I'm decapitated. Fold forward. Extending and stepping back on the right. Drop the right knee. Bring the arms up. And use your breath. Before we move on, take the hands behind the back, clasp the palms together, open your heart. Make sure the elbows are a little soft. Gonna lift the left heel. Drop a little deeper into that left hip crease. Drop the heel. Release the hands, bring the right fingertips down to the floor as you bend the right knee. Again, if you get a cramp, it's because you've shortened the muscle. So you want to do whatever you can to lengthen it. Keep the left elbow soft. And try to find the center or the belly of that quad and use your abdominals to draw all that energy up. Inhale and exhale. Rather than finishing the sequence, just going to bring the left knee back and have you sit back on your heels. Knees are out, toes are together. Folding into this frog.
You're going to take the right arm, thread it underneath so that the elbow is in front of the left knee. Make a fist with the right hand and wrap the left hand and take a twist. Try to keep your hips as square as possible, so this is just a really nice corkscrew from the base of the spine. Pull your tummy in. Back to the center. Left elbow in front of right knee. Fist with the left hand, wrap the right hand around, keep the hips soft. The hips square, sorry. Long spine. Pull your tummy in. One more breath. So nice. When we come back, we're going to sit soles of the feet together. As always, this is never about the feet being close to the body at all. In fact, move them further away than you usually do. Because all I'm interested in here is, now that we've opened up all this space, you want to feel that subtle sense of the spine effortlessly rising. And then we want to fold forward. There's no destination here. However, if you have the range of motion to, it's like a sweet spot, to drop your head into the arches of your feet. But that's only for those of you who have that range of motion. And by the way, everybody can do something. So if you can't do this, you're probably doing something that somebody else can't. Take a little walk over to the right. Breathe, pull your tummy in. Back to the center, over to the left. Breathe, pull your tummy in. Back to the center, hinge it back up. Hopefully this is starting to feel like home base as well, which is what I'm talking about is pelvic floor, spine effortlessly rising, crown and the head floating away. Take a nice little twist here. And a nice little twist here. Coming back to the center. I'm gonna just, no, actually I wanna do this first. Just bend your knees with your feet on the floor. Feet are a little wider than your hips. I'm just deciding whether I should turn sideways. We're going to be doing this, okay, just so you know the movement, but I want to set you up for it. I'm going to do this so that you can see what I'm doing behind me. So feet are a little wider than your hips, and they don't have to be close to your body. And you're going to, I'm using my fingertips just because of my wrist situation. But this doesn't, shoulders aren't invited to this party, so you want to remind them where they feel most comfortable. You want to be kind. And all you're going to do is rock back and forth. Hopefully, we made space in those quads. Nice. Let's do 2 and 1. When we come back, I'm going to sit in this position, which we've done before, taking an awkward twist to the right, swing the hands over to the left, and roll the hip. If we were successful in opening up and awakening those quads, you're probably not feeling it as intensely as we usually do. Walk the fingertips behind you or not. Keep the left hand on the floor. Lift the hips and open this out. So hopefully you feel this all the way from the right fingertips all the way down to the right knee. Inhale and exhale. Drop the hips. Switch. Awkward twist to the left. Swing fingertips over to the right, roll into the left. Walk the fingertips behind you. Keep those left fingertips on the right fingertips on the floor, lift the hips. And breathe. And use your sense of exploration here. And take subtle movements to really explore. Coming back, easy seat. We lost a lot of time in the beginning, so we're going to be going a little bit over here. Bring hands to the heart, Anjali Mudra. And allow everything to come to the center. I'm going to suggest that we use the centering mudra again. So you're going to bring the thumbs and the ring fingers together right there. Place them on the tops of your knees. If repeating the words centering, center helps as a context to draw you closer to your essence, to whatever makes you you, whatever helps you to reclaim your peace, to reclaim yourself, whatever that is, because it's different for everybody. But the more we practice this, the more familiar, again, we become, and we're able to remove the debris, remove the clutter, to reveal that pure center. 3 breaths. Easy breaths. Allowing breaths. And come back. Anjali Mudra. Fold forward. And namaste.